I'm gonna make this entire project out of this offcut cedar fence post. I picked the flattest side and marked that with the direction in which to joint. So we'll establish one flat face and then resaw a little thicker than 1/2 inch. Take it back to the joiner, re-establish that flat face, then back to the bandsaw again. And we'll repeat that until I have all the stock that I need. Everything will then take a trip through the planer until it reaches a 1/2 inch thickness. The double arm planer hug technique is not ideal, but sometimes camera angle takes precedent over comfort. I'll select 2 of these 4 boards that will become the sides, and I'll use the roll of bags itself to get a measurement for the width. First pass on the table saw is just to clean up one of these edges. Cedar can be pretty fuzzy. Then I'll flip it over and move the fence to clean up that last edge. The other 2 pieces I'll glue up. This will become the back panel and the front door. Because I'm planning a hexagon, each corner needs to be 60 degrees. So I'll cut my angle at 30 degrees. That way each pair will give me the required 60. Safety warning, do not make the cuts like this. Use a table saw sled if you have one. That will be coming up in a very near future video. But I'll make all the cuts on one side, then flip them over and cut them to their final dimension. Do a little mock-up, make sure everything looks good before selecting a bottom piece. I'll take that over to the drill press and drill a 1 5/8 hole about 1/8 of an inch deep, and then a 1 inch hole all the way through. I've got this 1/8 inch thick rubber that's designed for making your own gaskets, and I'll cut that to fit the 1 5/8 insert, and then put a little hash in the middle so the poop bags can pull through the center. I base this in nothing, but I feel like Gorilla Glue is the best to glue this down, and I'll also add a couple staples. The last thing to do before gluing up the hexagon is to add this tunnel which separates the active poop bag from the storage poop bag. That'll make more sense when it all comes together. So I'll flip all the pieces over, line them up, and then span all the gaps with blue tape, put some wood glue, and then wrap it up. I thought since you have 3 pairs of parallel faces, I could put some clamps on this, but it's just making the joint slip. Time for a shop tip. When you find yourself at a milestone, like you've got everything gluing up, take the time to put everything away so you can start fresh. The next morning I can take that panel out of the clamps and give it a rough chop on the miter saw, and I'll glue the sides to that back panel. Don't need to pay too much attention to alignment here, as I'm going to zip off the edges with the bandsaw and then take it over to the router table with a flush trim bit to make it line up perfectly. Now since the front needs to open up, I obviously can't do this glue bandsaw flush trim router bit trick, so I'll just trace it out, cut it on the bandsaw, and then use the random orbital sander to bring it down to my line. Now this may be unnecessary, but that pack of rubber that I bought came with a 1/16 inch piece, so I thought I'd make a gasket around the front so that it creates a watertight seal. Then we'll do some light sanding and take it outside for a couple coats of spray lacquer. I'll temporarily secure the front with blue tape while I mark the holes with an ice pick and then drive in the screws on the hinges. To keep the box closed, I'll use this clasp that I got at Woodcraft. You can see here how that mechanism works. Now my original thought for hanging this was to bore a couple holes that some proud screws can fit into. It's always good when you hang something up to give it some abuse to see if it's going to fall down. The fix, I thought, was to back the screws out so there's more to bite onto, but that came off again. Then I said, hey dummy, just screw through the back plate. So here you can see that tunnel separating the active roll from the storage rolls. That slotted rubber holds onto the bags well and lets you pull them freely. Thanks for watching.